Hey everybody, I'm Ivonix, and this is the Beginner's Guide. It was recommended to me by a viewer by the name of Xnomer, so shout out to my friend. And it's from the same developer as the Stanley Parable, and it actually came out about a year and a half ago, but I never got around to playing it and or watching it when anyone else play it, so this will be a new experience for me, so let's begin. Fade to white. Please make sure audio is on. Yes, it is. I can hear that lovely ambience quite clearly. Controls, WASD, of course. Alright.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
Cool.
So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay. Alright. It's an interesting little introduction there. This is quite bright. Whoa, fuck, God! Warning, Whisper machine status active, evacuate immediately.
This game is
no.
called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Oh no. Blocks floating in space. Well, hey, at least I have bullets. That's what those are. So I guess we're going to be just playing these little fragments of games as we learn more about Coda, perhaps.
It kind of looks like this game was abandoned mid-development.
Yeah.
For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're
Oh
not.
no, I'm out.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, that's great. Fortunately, there are no clear.
Apparently,
what
the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know.
No.
There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, well, okay then. Thank you. Can I go back? Yep.
Or, if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
Nah, I don't want to get lost. Okay. That's pretty funny. Okay.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Is that it?
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
There are no evacuation pods? Escape pods? Can't just take that option? No, I have to sacrifice myself? Okay. Whee!
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh. Oh no! You just float out of the space station. That's pretty funny. Oh hey, we can see the whole labyrinth.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. Oh. Some nice, the past was behind her. Okay. Ah. Oh!
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
That's pretty funny. How am I supposed to navigate properly? Okay, it's an empty room. Whoa, but the
So
future
it's a
could
short
not be
and
seen.
relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
We still
It is
see
less
the-
advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete.
can still see
Coda's
the
trying to
bottom
give
of
it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the future keep changing? Oh, here we go. This wall open up. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength? Oh. Yeah, to confront it? Where'd my door go?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends.
Okay.
Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Oh, good, I can walk forward again. What? You are now entering. I can only... God, that is a really limited range of vision. Okay. You are now entering the Twilight Zone. This feels like... Ah!
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay. Alright. I'll trust you. Nonsense.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Nonsense in nearly every direction. Oh boy.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games.
I like nonsense.
He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Well, the obvious choice would be to ascend the staircase, but...
I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here.
Aww.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's probably nothing at all. Interesting ambience. Too bad I can't run. Make my little jaunt a bit quicker. And probably nothing back here either. Nope, okay, up we go. This is one extremely inefficiently designed staircase. But perhaps that's the point. Why am I slowing down? Oh god, it's like one of those...
Once you've been
dreams.
slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
So I can... Instead of taking like 10 minutes to get the last chunk of the stairs. Oh. Stand on an X? What? You run a shop inside your own body, selling your organs strategically to make the most money before you die. You start in a room until you realize you can just walk through the walls.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
You walk around talking people down and from pursuing their hopes and dreams. That's terrible. A key in one game
Coda would
unlocks the
often
door.
tell me that he didn't mind if
Completely
people
different
thought of
game.
him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You are the queen, dusting your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed. A normal game where you have to scream into the mic every 15 seconds. That is funny. A series of Oh no! It took me out of it. I wanted to keep reading. Oh well. Ready, set, fish. Okay. Log cabin to cold concrete. Step out of my cabin in the woods into a parking lot. Or parking garage. Alright.
Well, this is new for
What's out
Coda.
here?
It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Oh boy, wow, this is dark and... I don't know. A little spooky. Something tells me this fellow isn't the type to include jump scares. What? Huh. Oh, okay.
Don't forget that
Aha!
solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
So those
We're
three
gonna see it a lot.
dots? Okay. What's in here?
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
We'll remove all the walls. And then that'll like reveal what's up. Well, okay. Whoa! Whoa! Jeez. How much time did this
How
guy
about that?
spend?
There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same.
Can't
Is
jump
that
over
most
there?
of the time, you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
January 2009. Oh, this again. Uh-oh. What are we entering? You are now exiting! Haha. Okay.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Okay. The Great and Lovely Descent? Huh. It's almost like
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Streetwise fool. The Streetwise
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
fell all the way down. Oh hey, here we go. What's down here? Oh jeez. Nothing that way. No. What? Oh, gate. It's like a giant cattle chute or something. And close behind me. Uh-oh. Ah! How dare you? Oh no. And, now I'm stuck. What? This... okay. Okay. We can work with that, I guess. And I can go off either side. I'm a
This
prisoner!
prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Okay. Whee!
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Okay. Can't go down either of those, so I guess we'll go downstairs. The random glass pillar in the center. Oh, and we're outside. Hooray. And no, never mind.
It's the puzzle again,
Yeah.
with the exact same solution as the last time.
Yay.
there's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
This is all very abstract, but somehow a little calming. What's in here? Oh my goodness. Speak.
Here,
Either.
Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Okay, so you there, did you come from up above? What was up there? Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. Yes, there are these floating colored blocks. There's an enormous prison. That's the world above, you've been there. Now this is important, did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did, that was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. I'd prefer not to tell you, after all, we've only just met. Yeah, who are you, weird blockhead men? What? But you don't understand, we are trapped here. That puzzle is our only escape, we need to get through it. You think you want to get through, but trust me, you don't. Let me describe it for you. Let me tell you all about what is over there. Alright, I will tell you how to solve it. Go option 2, I guess. No, that isn't possible, and possibly enough. I need to actually be there. I cannot simply be told what it is. I must see it myself. I must escape this prison. There must be an ending. Oh! Bye! What? Hello, how did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. Oh, why would I sit in the black space? Oh, it's plenty peaceful. It may not seem that way at first, but you'll come to think so in time, eventually. Sounds vaguely threatening. Oh, okay, bye. I'm gonna find more of them.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
And... escape from the brutalist architecture, maybe? Oh, hey, a lamp. Oh.
It's a lamppost.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Okay. Suppose I can live with that. April 2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Okay. Okay, I'm guessing this right over here is a note. Yes, oh, nice room. Not. Alrighty.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this,
How
but
do you beat
this
this
game
game?
is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Boring. Says, I can assure you, guarantee that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for it. Wow. It's a pretty cool concept. Hey guys. I refuse to believe. But I need to go to the frickin' bathroom. Recognize me, please. Is there a way to... I'm just wondering if you can actually walk over on all those pathways, or if that's just for show. There's nothing here, go back. Don't listen to that guy. That's funny. Free t-shirt. Door open sesame. Makes game, includes door, cannot open door. Thanks. The person who made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Wow, yeah, this is a lot of... Oh. A lot of notes. I'm just gonna stop. Try and read every single one. Just gonna let them pop up as I go past. Wow. Oh no, can't get to the other side. Once they take my hand, let's jump together. Ah. Well. Abstract art for an abstract game, huh? This would have taken a long time to, like, write out and place every single one of these.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution. He understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
I like the whispers.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. to grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
And it's like there's only one note over here, like, in the narrative of the game, only one person made it. How do you leave notes? And a million typewriters, eh? Oh, and the lamppost, there it is again. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything, I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. Fascinating. Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Okay. Ah, yes. Random picture of a city to put on your wall. Okay. Nice little caged-in room. I mean, it's not really even an apartment. What's that over there? I see that. What is it? Okay, I guess we just sit on the couch and wait. Nice catchy little beat, I guess. At least. Whoa, shit! Fuck! Fucking closet. Oh boy. More hallways. More random pictures of buildings. What I saw out the window was probably a piece of this structure here. And okay.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason,
Now we're in the
Coda
well.
gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
It's gonna be like, oh no, we are Sadako. Alright, what furniture ought to go in the center of the room? Oh, we get to design the room ourselves, okay. TV with surround sound or refrigerator, put a giant hole in the ground. Let's put a giant hole in the ground. Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, now what about... It's just gonna build the same room as before, isn't it? Let's put a huge picture of a horse. I'd really like washing machine. 10 stoves lined up against the wall. Absolutely. Yep, it's just... False choice! Oh, and that little structure is not there anymore. I think we should light the room up a bit. Skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. 10 by 12 recessed electric, 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim. Tesla coils, yes! Yeah. A table. You need a table. We've got a table right here. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? Pretty sure none of my choices are making a difference. Tables were invented in 1935. Yep. What? Oh no!
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for
Furniture
weirdness'
maze.
sake.
Yeah, it is.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. I don't want to walk forward. But I can't walk backwards. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. How about I don't? How about I click on the lamp first? I can't. Okay, table. Good, now go over to the photo frame and there's those 3 dots again. And click it to turn. Click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Now go to the left side sofa, move it over a little bit. Finally touch the shelves. Where are... Oh, there they are. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Oh gosh. Oh, I think I can remember that. Return.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison
On
idea.
the bottom of the well.
Nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Huh. Oh. Ah. I lost track of my horizon for a second there. Okay. Oh, there's the lamp again. There's that lamp. So do we just walk out of from under a bridge or something? It's too dark to see. And hey, hedges. This is just a little odd. Yeah, that ambience is very unsettling. Hello? Yeah, hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yes, I was in the furniture maze.
It's a conversation.
I was in the escape tutorial.
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then. It actually does change. I don't feel like the same person at all. Oh, good. That's so nice to hear. That makes me feel really happy. Age just kind of does that, you know. I'm still me, but I'm not somehow. It's hard to describe. Remember to enjoy being who you are right now. It won't last. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? To get out, all you have to do is be sincere. To get out, you need to tell me how you feel right now. To get out, just talk with me for a bit. Tell me how you feel right now. Scared? What? That will free me? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just tell me how you feel. It will make sense. Okay, I feel afraid that nothing will ever change. Go on.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
As much as I want to keep going forward and, you know, seeing what's in that house up there and where the whole narrative of this game ends up, I do need to end this video here, so we'll continue on at another time. But for now,